Saliba! Hey guys, welcome to She Knows Arsenal. My name is Jessica. I'm your host. You can follow me on Twitter at Jessino Tweets and at She Knows Arsenal. Welcome to another match review where we're going to be doing our hits and misses for Arsenal's game against Bournemouth, where we beat them 3-0 at the Vitality Stadium. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you guys are okay with this more like relaxed feel. I actually did another video a couple minutes ago where my hair was like in a bun and my glasses were on. Like it was very rough. It was very rough. And I was like, okay, let me not do them like that. Let me not do them like that. But still, not my usual setup, but I just set up a webcam and it's a quick video. So I hope you guys don't mind that it's not like as refined as I've been trying to make it over the last couple of days. I just think we can just kind of be relaxed with each other, a cup of coffee, feeling good. I was supposed to put this out yesterday, but I had too much to drink, so I wasn't going to do that to you guys. But yeah, I have my coffee now and I'm ready to talk to you guys about the hits and misses for our game. I have to be honest, you guys, like this felt like Arsenal of old, where we play against a team that we're supposed to be beating, home or away, doesn't matter. And we have tons of chances. We play really, really good football. We score multiple goals and we're pretty relaxed the entire game. And I do think that that's a change from even just last season. There were games where we played against, the lower half of the table, and it was a lot more difficult than it probably should have been. And I think a lot of that came from not being able to put the ball in the back of the net, you know, and teams not respecting us as much. And I do think some teams are going into these games feeling as though they're playing one of the top teams in the league. And once one or two goals goes in, they kind of just are dead in the water. And that's what you want. Like as an Arsenal fan, that's what we're used to. At least, since I've been an Arsenal fan, that's what I've been used to is when we play relegation type teams, which Bournemouth are probably the worst team in the league. I have to say that. I think they're definitely an early and obvious contender for going down, but we want to enjoy our day, And so I really did enjoy this performance, and I'm really enjoying watching this team play together, be together, enjoy winning together. And you can just tell that they're really enjoying themselves, which is great. There's going to be a roller coaster, how the 38 games goes, plus, cup competitions. There's going to be ups and downs. But I think as the squad and as a fan base, we should just enjoy the games as they come. And for me, especially this season, because I'm enjoying the players so much, and I don't know what's going to happen at the end of the season or how I'm going to feel about how the season went. But in the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy what I'm seeing and enjoy the feeling, because over the last 5 years, it has not been fun. Like it really hasn't. I think a lot of people can say that this is the first group in a long time that we've actually liked. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to spend more time enjoying the moment and not worrying so much about when this game comes up. We need to get fourth. We need to get this. Those things are in the back of my mind. But games like this, games like Leicester, games like Crystal Palace, I'm just gonna enjoy them for what they are, because I'm really enjoying this team playing football. And they look pretty damn good, So we will go ahead and get into it, but make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel, by the way. So my first hit is going to be Odegaard, the goal scorer. So Odegaard had come into quite a bit of criticism amongst the fan base around his lack of shooting, especially against Crystal Palace. And almost like this idea that he's had a very slow start or a poor start. And even against Leicester, he was somehow hampering Saka and not having a lot of touches and being like a ghost. Now, when I rewatched the Leicester game, I thought he actually played really well. But because Zinchenko was so influential, Odegaard didn't have as many touches, and we really attacked down that left-hand side more than we did down the right. So he just wasn't as into it. But when you looked at what he did do, he was very, very good in that game as well. Didn't get a goal, but it is what it is. Now, in this game, he was getting into those good positions that he usually gets into, but instead of trying to walk it into the net or passing it away, he took the shot himself. And I think Odegaard, after the comments that he made, the quotes that came out after the Crystal Palace game, where he said he was disappointed in the chance that he didn't take against them, that really would have sealed the game and alleviated a lot of pressure. I think going into this game, he got that monkey off of his back. The first goal that he scored was just the type of goal that I don't think Arsenal have been getting over the last couple of seasons, where we just have guys just in the box ready to have a tap in. And those goals are just as important as the goals that we score where it's like 30 passes without the opposition touching it. It's just as important to get those. And I don't think we've had many of those over the last couple of years. And Gabriel Jesus's touch for that goal was absolutely insane, just through the midfield, passing it off to Martinelli, and then the goalkeeper making a save and Odegaard tapping it in. The second goal for me was had a little bit more finesse on it, because it was kind of like, he took it off of Jesus's foot, but it was a nice curler into the left corner. And I was really happy for Odegaard, because Odegaard is one of my favorite players. I do think that he kind of exemplifies everything that Arsenal is kind of about. I love players that come from difficult circumstances and are kind of written off and come to Arsenal to rejuvenate their careers. And that's kind of like a lot of our players at this time. Like we have a couple of players that have kind of been written off at the other clubs that they were at and are coming to Arsenal to start again. And Odegaard is no different. Somebody that has had a lot of um, publicity and a lot of talk around him as being like this like this new phenom at 16 years old. Didn't quite work out for him at Real Madrid. Some people called him a reject, and he found a home at Arsenal. I have very high expectations for Martin. I know that people don't necessarily see him as a captain, but I think the way that he leads by example is why he's the captain. He just does the work, and his all-around game was really, really good against Bournemouth. It wasn't just the goals, it was the way that he was always available, the way he kept the ball ticking along, the running. He's always one of the highest runners in the team. And I know people are like, it's not a track team, but it doesn't matter. Running is important in football. We've had teams that didn't run. So let's not act like it's not important. So for me, Martin Odegaard had such a good game. I wish he would have gotten the assist for the Jesus goal that was called off at the end of the game, but I thought he had a really good game. And so he was one of my biggest hits for yesterday's match. Let me know in the comments if you agree. My second hit is none other than William Saliba. He had another really, really solid game, and he's presented with different problems to solve in every single game. First game, it was Crystal Palace, Selhurst Park, a very difficult away ground to go to, where we haven't particularly done well. We were under a lot of pressure. The second game was definitely the Vardy test. I think he passed it mostly. The own goal was a little bit more of a freak accident than indicative of his overall play. He was relatively flawless beyond that and kept Vardy pretty quiet. And then this game was more of the Kiefer Moore big target striker challenge. And I think he passed it with flying colors. I think Kiefer Moore kind of started with trying to play up against Saliba. And once he realized he couldn't get past him, you saw him kind of inch over to Gabriel's side to see if he could get some change from Gabriel. Gabriel did well, but I think that just shows that, opposition attackers are looking at Saliba as someone that you can't get through. There was one moment where they passed it through to him, and he kind of had a little bit of an edge over Saliba, and then Saliba, recovery speed, just boom, right on top of him, and then pushed him towards the sideline. And those things get overlooked, but that's just excellent defending from Saliba. He's so confident and calm, but also intense in what he does. And on and off the ball, you just see that he's assured in what he's doing. 100% pass completion. and had tons of touches. I think in the first half, he had like 50 something touches. So when you have a defender that's back there and defensively solid, but also can add quality on the ball, we have a difference maker in our team. And I think we've lacked a star-studded center back at Arsenal. This is no shade to Ben White or Gabriel, who I do think are top players. But I think it's pretty clear that Saliba is bringing that star quality and that rock at the back, superstar center back vibe back there that we just didn't have. And he's only 21, so who knows what he can become. Obviously, we still need to sign him to a new deal, but just having the opportunity after the long 3 years to see him playing at Arsenal and scoring goals, the goal that he scored was absolutely sensational, is I do think something that Arsenal fans are really enjoying. And it's showing through how much support he's getting from the fans. I mean, it's the chant, it's the it was like from minute one, Saliba chant, Saliba chant, Saliba chant, almost to the point of like nauseum in a way, but it was cute and I loved it. And I think Saliba really appreciated it. Beyond Bukayo Saka, I do think Saliba is the most loved player, like in terms of the fan base and how they treat him and love on him. And hopefully this is the dream that he's been, thinking about since he was a kid, a young Arsenal fan, playing for Arsenal, starting for Arsenal, and being a pivotal part of Arsenal. And that's enough to get him to sign a new deal, because I just don't think you're going to find another player of his quality, like for what we paid for him. I mean, at this point, if Wesley Fofana is going for 80 million, William Saliba has to be going for 100 plus, because he's just that good. So Saliba had an excellent game. The goal that he scored was sensational. They said that they had been training that at training. They had been practicing it over and over again. And he reaped the rewards. You could just see what it meant to him. So Saliba was another hit from yesterday's game. Let me know if you agree. And my third hit, which should come to no surprise, is Gabriel Jesus. His influence on the team is almost as tangibles and intangibles. It's the quality that he adds on and off the ball, but it's also just the way that he plays is like a level of confidence and leadership that it's just something we haven't had in a long time. He's another one that leads by example. When he loses the ball, he tries to get it back. There were times where he was clearing the ball out of our box in the second half when Bournemouth was trying to put us under pressure. We haven't had a player that's worked this hard up top in years. And again, like I'm not going to slam other players in order to make my point. But just as well as I know that we haven't had a striker that has worked this hard for Arsenal, on and off the ball. That touch that he took for the first goal was absolutely sensational. And the run that he made, dribbling through all those players, it was quite similar to what he did to Crystal Palace, really. It was like a combination of the Johnny Evans chance and the Crystal Palace chance that Martinelli should have put away. He slipped it through to Martinelli, and I think it was a tight angle, and Martinelli couldn't, get it past the keeper, and then Martin Odegaard taps it in for the first goal. But that's the difference that a really quality elite level forward is going to give you. And I think, you look at it and you hope that the likes of Martinelli and Saka can also get to that level. And having somebody like Gabriel Jesus around them will help them get there, because he's just absolute mustard. The guy is so good. And what I'm seeing amongst the fan base is people that were very apprehensive and unsure about Gabriel Jesus are starting to come around to the idea that he was the right signing. And, it's not always obvious who's the right signing. Some people have their own ideas around what kind of striker we need. And some people want the target man. They want the guy that's going to kind of head the ball in the back of the net and kind of be that aerial threat. But even Gabriel Jesus, it was obvious that he was an aerial threat at Manchester City. And height is not always indicative of it's not always connected to your threat in the air. And I think just the way that he plays, his intention, where he is in his career, how he's in his prime, but can also get better at Arsenal, and how he's kind of turning page and having a new lease on life in a way. I do think that he fits, and he's the perfect striker for us. And I'm just happy to see that other fans are starting to see it, because you guys know I've been down for Gabriel Jesus since day one. So he had an excellent game. Kind of disappointed that he didn't get the goal. I thought we'll talk about that in a second, but I'm not completely sure that that fourth goal should have been called off for offside. But overall, like, he has excellent games, man of the match performances. I think he did get man of the match. Um, Without scoring goals, and that says a lot, and not bad for a Manchester City reject, is it? So, Gabriel Jesus is my last hit. Now going into the misses, it's very difficult to go through these because it's not like anybody played horrifically or had a mare or anything like that, but we still have to just make sure that we remain balanced and also mention things that maybe could be better. So my first miss is that fourth goal being called off. I looked at it several times, and I looked at the angle that they were showing and the quality of the image that they were looking at, and I was like, how could they even see it? It's grainy and blurry. You can really see it. So I'm not sure if it should have stood or not. Offsides is pretty. I still think, even though the technology makes it so that there's no obvious calls missed, there's still some subjectivity in terms of angles and things like that that come into play when you look at these images. But ultimately, that fourth goal, I do think that there's question marks on whether it was actually offside based on the quality of the image that was being shown. And also, I just felt like Gabriel Jesus, based on his performance, deserved that goal, and Martin Odegaard also deserved that assist because they played so well. So I'm not gonna like cry about it or anything like that, but I do think that was a little bit suspect just based on it wasn't very clear. So that was one of my misses. My second miss, I called it rattled Ramsdale. Once again, he had another moment in this game where we were under just a tiny bit of pressure from Bournemouth. It's not like it was unpredictable that they would make changes because they're at home anyway. They're going to make changes and try to make a push in the second half. To especially because like it was only 2-0, at halftime. So in their minds, they're thinking get a goal and we're right back in it. And so it wasn't unpredictable that they would try to put us under some pressure. And I think we were okay to concede some possession and just sit in our shape because we were pretty comfortable and confident. But Ramsdale, he transmits anxiousness and nervousness throughout the back line, I do think, because he has these unforced errors that come out of nowhere that just don't make any sense to me. And he tries to do a kick out and, drop kick the ball out and scuffs it. And a better team than Bournemouth is going to chip that right over his head or make a quick decision, and the ball is in the back of the net. It didn't even go 10 yards. He scuffed it so poorly. And then he tried to say that he was impeded, but it was very obvious that he just made a big mistake. And against a better team, I do think if you do things like that, you're going to get punished for it. And then the team starts to become nervous because you've made an unforced error. And so Ramsdale is not at the top of his game just yet. I do think that he's had some moments already this season, unforced moments. And I just wonder, when we play the better teams, are these unforced errors going to become goals against? The time that he came out against Vardy, the near post or the goal that Madison scored that just went through his legs, like things like that. And this will get punished in the future. Now, he did come out and say that he's nowhere near his best, but I'm just wondering what it's going to take to get him to his best, because in the next couple of games, with these easier games are going to be gone, and we're going to start getting into the meat and potatoes of the season. And I don't want to see another Liverpool at home game from him. And I get that he may have been injured, but he needs to, we need to be able to count on him not to have these unforced errors so frequently. And they're becoming a lot more frequent. But it didn't cost us. Ramsdale has said that he's not at his top of his game. I'm sure he'll get to it. And he was just the one that was just that one little moment where I was like, ooh, that could have been really, really ugly. So there was that. And then my last miss is just maybe not seeing Fabio Vieira. I was looking forward to it. I was calling for subs at about 65 minutes in. And we saw Sambi come on. We saw Eddie come on, Emile Smith-Rowe, Tierney and Tommy. So there wasn't any other subs to make. I think we made all 5. So fair enough. But yeah, I would have liked to see Fabio Vieira. I'm trying to figure out when we're going to see him. Maybe he's not quite ready. And I do think Arteta makes it very clear that there's a hierarchy. Like, these players get in first, like Eddie, the two fullbacks get on first, and then maybe Emile, Sambi's next, and then maybe Fabio Vieira, but maybe we'll see him against Fulham. But I just thought this might be a good opportunity to get his feet wet because we were 3-0 up. We weren't under any sort of pressure. And I do envision Fulham being a bigger test than Bournemouth because I think they're a much better team. And I'm just ready to see him. I'm just excited, and that's it. And it's not like a big miss. And I'm looking at Arteta like, why didn't you play him? It's not that. I just feel like it was a little bit of a miss because I think a lot of us were kind of like, are we going to see him today? Are we going to see him today? Are we going to see him today? So there's not much in these misses. So I'm not saying like sound the alarms or anything like that. Ultimately, it was a game where we were completely dominant. We did what we were supposed to do. It was a good, like, in terms of the playing style and our passing and our confidence and the chances that we created. And so, yeah, I have really nothing to complain about. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. You guys can let me know in the comment section what you guys think about your hits and misses. If you disagree with anything I'm saying, please let me know in the comments and I will have a little debate with you there. For Monday, I'm going to be releasing an exclusive interview that I had with Matt Dingle, who had the opportunity to be the key photographer during preseason in America. His name on Twitter is Nomadic Lens, and if you've seen his photos, they're absolutely sensational photos. And so I had a little bit of a little chit chat with him about what that experience was like, what it was like being around the team, and his overall feeling about the season and how he got to where he is. So that'll be dropped as a pre-recorded interview that will drop earlier in the day on Monday. And then at 6 p.m. UK time, I'll be doing a longer version of this, a live show where you guys can get in the chat and let me know what you think about the game with Pedro from the Arsenal Opinion podcast, which is one of the best Arsenal podcasts out there. So he'll be a guest on the show. You guys will get a chance to talk to him and talk to me about our 3-0 win against Bournemouth. So again, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye, y'all.